and welcome to my channel. I am Tammy Ozturk, the designer of badbobbin.com. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Diamond Starburst earrings. Diamond Starburst earrings, there'll be in other shapes as well. And they are done completely in the hoop. Then you just add your hoops and all. And the stitching is like in a starburst. You can see right through it, almost like those earrings that the thread goes back and forth. Pretty much the same idea, but these are done in the machine. And I'm going to show you how to do these purple ones. See, we can see the name through it. So this is the new design. There'll be a couple other shapes and stuff for these. And this is very simple. 2 pieces of vinyl, whatever thread you want, bobbin thread, changing it to match the top and bottom. And then your jump rings and your hook and some water-soluble stabilizer. You'll have to have the water-soluble stabilizer for the center part. And it's very simple, very quick and easy to do. There'll be other shapes for you and just the fun ideas of what the possibilities are of the different colors and combinations you can do. And see, it's like see-through. You can see the letters underneath. So let's get on over to the cutting table and see what it is we need to make our creation of the Diamond Starburst earrings from badbobbin.com. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell to get more notifications on our next projects. I know it's been a little while. And give me a thumbs up if you enjoy this video. Hopefully it's not too long for you, and we'll see you at the end. Thank you. See you at the cutting tables, see what we need. All right, we're at the cutting table, and these are going to be the supplies that we need to make our Diamond Starburst earrings, and they will be in other shapes, like I said, but we're going to do the diamonds today. And I have printed out, I include like a screenshot so that you see the steps that are meant to use, and you can change the colors or, you know, kind of, I ended up putting where I need to put my stops in, but you're going to learn today in the tutorial where to put those stops. And then this is the PDF that comes with it, which will have this diagram and then your color changes. And I wrote my little notes on here, so you can screenshot it. There's also going to be a PDF written with pictures. So you'll have it all covered to do these earrings. It'll be super, super easy. They're really, really quick as well. So here's my dimensions. So first we're going to need 2 pieces of 3 by 3 3/4, and both pieces of vinyl should be the same color. It's up to you if you want to or not to. The stiffer the better to do on your vinyl pieces, because they need to kind of have some stability, but it'll work, you'll see. So that we need some tearaway stabilizer, and people ask which one I use. I don't use that really heavy papery kind that's like fibery, and then when you tear it, it's got little like cottony edges. This one actually I get from Thread Art, and this is just their regular tearaway. Actually, I do have, and they always have sales. Come on, so this is actually the stabilizer I get. So it's Thread Art, regular tearaway, and this happens to be the 10 by 50 roll. They also have a 10 by 100, and so many different other stabilizers. And I use theirs, and it's pretty inexpensive, and they always have sales on them. So little plug for them. I don't get paid by them, but that just happens to be the one that I really enjoy and use. And when you do tear it away and you have those little edges on some products, that little lighter just around the edges gets rid of that little fuzzy with this stabilizer. That cottony one, no, that'll catch on fire. You can't use the lighter. So some of you might have seen that little thing that I did where it caught on fire, and you happen to see it catch on fire. So my mistakes, your game. Anyways, on to this. So we have our stabilizer, or I mean our vinyl. Cutting materials, you're going to need to try to get a small pair of scissors. I like the curved ones. You can do the straight little 4-inch ones. You want pointy edge. You're going to need that pointy so that you can get inside and cut that center out when we get to that. Water-soluble stabilizer, use the clear if possible. There is a real clear one, and then there's this one which is kind of a little foggy. This happens to be a big piece that, you know I can use all this other, so I'm kind of frugal when it comes to this stuff, kind of expensive. So I'm just going to use this little piece, and it's pretty much the same size as your vinyl. You can even go smaller, so I wrote it down on here that for the clear water-soluble stabilizer, You can do one piece at 3 by 3 3/4, or you can do 2 little pieces and set them where you need to. Like once it's in the frame, if you have a piece that you just small pieces cut out, you can just tape them, and that works great. So 2 by 2 1/2. So I just happen to have this one piece that works perfect. That was a scrap. So we'll do that. That's our water soluble we're going to need. Lighter for later on our threads to singe them. We have our hole punch. You really want to get as small as possible on the hole punch for the earrings. And the earrings, we have 2 little jump rings, and I have my 2 hoops. And then when we get to this part, I'll show you what I do with my hoops so that it fits properly. And I have my tools for that, for doing the rings. And then I have my hoop. Can be done in a 4 by 4 hoop, but I'm going to do it in a little bit larger hoop so that you can see my cutting and things will be a little bit easier to see. You can also fit 2 in this if you want. So when you move it over to the side, the other one will fit also, so you can do 2 pairs at a time. So that is what we need and have, and we're all ready to go over to our sewing machine, and we'll start stitching this out and learn how to do our diamond starburst earrings. All right, we're at the machine, and I forgot to mention, you need a bobbin that's the same color as your top thread. So we're going to use purple, dark purple on top of our light, and I'm going to go ahead and put my bobbin in, same color. There we go. And you want to, you don't have to, but I'm using a contrasting color of thread for my vinyl. So, or you can just use white vinyl and then whatever color thread you want to. There's also the multicolored thread. I'm going to go ahead and do one of those after this, and then take pictures, and you'll see the pictures up on the website when the item's for sale. So we'll see how it works with the multicolored thread as well. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to remove my things. I have my instructions. So I have it set up in my machine for the steps. So the first step is going to be our placement box, which is what we're going to put our vinyls on both sides. So we want to stop it. Then we're going to do a tack down, an outline, and we're going to stop it because we're going to cut out our centers. And then the last 3 steps I'll end up sewing all at once. Unless you're changing colors for your very last color, then if you're on a single needle machine, then you'll need to put a stop here because you'll change the colors, or it will stop. Otherwise, just let it run in all colors. And I think I'm just letting it run. No, I'm going to do my last color contrasting so you can see it. All right. So first step is putting it in, and we're going to do our little placement. And I usually do it in white, but I'm going to do it in purple so you can see the placement. Here we go. All right, we'll take it out, and there's no tacky spray on this because we're going to be cutting out, and because you're going to cut that centerpiece, you don't want it to be stuck. Oh, that's good. You don't want it to stick to your paper. So I flip it over, and I'm going to do the back side first, and I'm just going to put some tape on the corners. It doesn't have to be taped all the way around, but it all depends on your machine. I usually just put it and tape the corners, and that's our back side. And then we're going to go ahead and do our front side. And do the same thing. Tape my corners down. Oop, a little crooked. It's okay. Doesn't matter if it's crooked. Really not much to this vinyl. I think, you know, I'm sorry, but it's kind of a waste of vinyl for the amount of vinyl we're going to have in this project, but has to be this way, sorry. So pop it back in the machine, and it's going to do our outline little stitch, and we're going to cut the center out. Okay. So it just did our diamond shape, and like I said, there'll be other shapes as well coming out. So I'm just going to cut and trim the little threads there. You can use your lighter as well, which I'm going to do a little bit. Kind of holds the stitches, kind of puts a little knot there, sorry. And our back side, I'm going to trim those threads as well now. I'm not going to wait. I need to trim them now. scissors. I think I pulled my dull scissors. I did. These aren't working very well. I have to find my other pair. And I'm going to singe them a little bit. Oh, I need to cut a little more of this thread off here. There we go. And I'll use my lighter again just to singe it a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I start on my back side. I usually always start on my back side first. And be careful that you don't press through and then make your stabilizer sag or anything. We don't want to do that. We want to keep it taut. So that's why you need a nice sharp point. So you're going to start at the corner. There we go. We'll start at the corner, and then gently poke a little hole. It's okay if you go all the way through, but you just want to kind of just gently get it in there. I'm going to do a little snip so I can get my blade in there. And then you want to try to make sure it's a nice straight or nice smooth. You don't want a bunch of clips. So I'll hold it this way a little bit so you can see it. And you want to get as close as possible, but do not cut your threads. You don't want to cut through the thread line. So we're going to go as close to there. And then come to this edge. Little tiny, little scooted up, tiny bit scooted up, and then we get to the end where you can clip it to get a nice sharp there. Turn my hoop. Put the scissors underneath there again. I want to get as close as possible. Little tiny things just to scoot it along until I get to the end that I want. Yeah, these are my dull scissors. This might be my better pair. Alrighty, and we're gonna get to the end. So that's how we're gonna cut it out. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the back side first, and then I'm gonna go over and cut the front side. Okay, I've cut my centers out, toss them, you don't need them, throw them away. And now we're going to tear the stabilizer out from the inside. You may have cut it with your vinyl. If you didn't, then carefully tear it out. You want to make sure that all of it's out. You may need your hemostats if you can't get it all, just to pull it out. So out of the center. We're pulling the stabilizer out. And that's why I use this stabilizer instead of that other, the heavier stabilizer. Because of tearing it out, you don't have all those fuzzies inside here. So I want to get out as much as possible, all of it if you can, from the inside. There we go. Usually, this one tears really easy. It tears right on the sewing line, so it's pretty good. Just a little piece right there. There we go. So we've torn out the center, so we have our two holes. You can see right through them. That's the whole point. We got rid of the stabilizer, so we turn it over to the back side, and this is where we add our water-soluble stabilizer. And you want to make sure that you're going over your holes completely. And it's going to stitch a little bit out, so you want to make sure your pieces are hanging over a bit. And then I'm just going to tape it. So tape a corner. So I've got it kind of tight across the back side. So that's our water-soluble stabilizer. And then we're going to flip that back over, and I kind of just push down on the tape on the back side to make sure it's secure. Not going to come up. All right. And then we're going to put it back in the machine. And we're going to stitch out our Starburst part. This is kind of a cool, that's why we have the stabilizer. So it'll do the Starburst, and then it's going to do like a secured triple stitch around the Starburst part, and then there's a final part that goes around all of it. And that final part, I changed colors. So we're going to go with the purple, and you'll see it's going to do the eyelet and around our Starburst, and our Starburst. All right, we are finished. Oops, sorry, kick that on you. So here's our finished on the machine. So I added the pink for my outside, but you can say do the same color or the color of your vinyl, however you want to do it. So, and you can see through, see the stitches. This is really, really cool. So I'm going to go now over to our cutting table, and we're going to finish up and do what we need to do. So turned out pretty good. On the back side, we're going to clean that up a little bit and remove our stuff. And there we go. Meet you at the cutting table for the breast. All right, we're back at the cutting table, and I went ahead and did another one, and I did use that variegated thread like I told you. And look how pretty it looks. You can see through it. Well, it'll be even better after we get rid of this, this water soluble stuff. So this variegated thread, which is really, really pretty, comes from Wizardry, Stitchery, and Crafts. And this is a black and white gray shaded one, and then this one is the pastel colors I thought for Easter. So it's Wizardry, Stitchery, and Crafts. That's a mouthful. It's actually geekyhardware.com if you want to go there. I'm not getting paid by them. I just really like, and I think Sheila, I know that Sheila from Designs by Baby Moon also uses this on all, not all, but on her freestanding lace earrings and her other fringed earrings and stuff that she was doing. So that's how I got to know about this, was at Applique Getaway. And I happened to purchase it, and I had a fun time talking to them. So it's geekyhardware.com. Wizardry, Stitchery, and Crafts is their website and their group. So this is actually TEX, which is TEX 27. 27 is for the embroidery machine. 45 is for the other industrial and heavier machines. So TEX 27, it's like $17.10 for this big spool here. And they've got 16 different variegated colors. And they also have like color changing thread. They have glow in the dark thread, neon thread. It's really cool. Go to their website. They have a ton of stuff there. All right, so let's get on with mine. Sorry, little plug there for them, but I don't get paid by any of these people. I just happen to like them and want to share their info to you. So I'm going to unhoop it. I'm going to tear away the stabilizer and then carefully tear away the water soluble. Okay. All right. This one's a little puckery, you can see it. So little ways of getting around that. Make sure you tape all 4 corners down. I only taped 2, so make sure you tape all 4 corners down on both sides, front and back. Also, this one I had a little difficulty with because my other machine, it's not your problem, it's my problem. My other machine, bobbin winder is not working. So yes, I kindly hand wound my bobbin just to get this project done. So that's why one of the reasons doing it by hand, yes, I did a bunch of times, sat there for probably a good 5 minutes winding this bobbin. You didn't need much, but I did by hand. So that's why it's not the greatest and the tension's not right, is because my bobbin wasn't wound properly. So that is a information tip for you, a do not do tip, I guess. So, but it'll be corrected a little bit. You'll see as we get to the next part. The purple one turned out better, yes, because the bobbin was wound properly, and that I had enough tape on this one, I think. So what's going to happen? So the back side is where it's kind of yucky, and yeah, it's going to happen. There's kind of like no way around this. I don't know why. It happens to a lot of things, but at least it's on the back side. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim all these little things out. We're going to pull them, trying to make them really neat, especially up here where the loop is. So I'm just going to kind of pull a little bit with my nails to get some of it out. Then I'm going to trim it. So all these little string things we're going to trim. We want to be careful though that we're not going to cut into any of our stitches around here. And then once I trim them and get them close enough, I'm going to use my little handy dandy lighter and get that to get the little like knots. So it's going to kind of singe it up and melt it down to a little knot so they don't fray on us. So our next thing will be to trim all our threads and burn. Okay, so I have everything trimmed off the back, little singeing. Here's a little thread in the front. And we got it. Okay, so you can see they're like a little warpy, but once we get them cut out and everything and shrunken down, you'll see how we're going to press them and we'll get a good shape out of them. All right, so simple cutting. These are really easy. These are just going to be straight edges. It's when you get to the round ones or the egg-shaped ones or the other shapes that might be a little bit more on your rounding, trying to get nice edges, but with the diamond shapes it's pretty easy, and you want to cut as close as possible but not too close that you're going to get into the threads. So I do like maybe an 1/8 to like a 1/16, 1/16 to 1/8, and I'm just going to cut around them as close as I can to the threads without cutting into the threads. Alrighty, throw our scraps away. Okay, so when we're doing the cutting, where the loop is up here, you want to get as close as possible to that. You don't want to leave a lot because we're only using the little jump rings. I mean, you can use bigger jump rings if you want, but I made it so that you just want to cut really close, and then we're going to punch our hole in the center there. So that's why we need to be close on there. And I kind of messed up on my first one, and sometimes some vinyls are not forgiving and you cannot, I'm trying to cut it again, but it's really hard to try to cut over vinyl again, trying to get a little bit of cutting, but there we go. Got a little bit off of there. So I have a bowl of the hot water, but I normally take it to the sink and I will run the water through. And then just as the water starts to run through, then I'll stop. I don't want to completely wash it out. I don't want it like just totally soaked and rinsed. I want it enough just to get rid of the water soluble and give it a little bit of stiffness. So actually my water got cold. So I'm going to put them in my water and have that water soluble inside the threads disappear. You can kind of feel it getting gummy and goopy. That's why if you run it through, you can see like when it starts to disappear, you can see that the water starts to run through it when you run it under the faucet. But it's pretty much, you know, disappearing. And then once that's mostly out, then you just kind of, whoops, I'm going to put them out on a towel. There we go. And then, alrighty, here's the best part, because you're going to kind of leave this overnight, but I will finish this obviously on the video. Got your paper towel, you got them laid out. I'm going to fold this over. And everybody's got one of these, I'm sure, and you're wondering what to do with it nowadays. That wonderful World Book of, oh, this is actually the dictionary. I grew up with the whole encyclopedia like this. So I had the big thick one, and I'm going to stick it in this book, and I'm going to let it sit overnight in between my book and let it flatten. That's exactly what we want to do. We want to flatten it. So you're going to dry them a little bit, stick them on that paper towel, and we're going to press it and then let it sit overnight, and we will finish it once they're dry. But I know you guys want to see it finished now. But once you do open up your book, these are going to be nice and flat and dry. And you know what? I'll finish this video tomorrow. So I'm putting them on the dry part. There we go. We will see you tomorrow, but it'll only be a few seconds for you. All right, now that we've got it pressed in our book, I checked it halfway through and I got a new paper towel, peeled them off and got a new one so they'll be dry because the paper towel is a little bit wet. So you just change it out, make sure. So now they're dry, a little crispy like they should be. And they're more flat. They're not as bowed as they were before. And also, like I said, depending on the vinyl that you're using as well. Okay, so we have them. Look at that. Book came in handy. There we go. So I have them ready to go. And these are here's the front side. And those are the front sides to the blue ones too. So the blue was a little bit softer vinyl than the purple. And I think, and the thread should be about the same. I mean, this is the variegated. I think it came out really pretty though. Look at that. Isn't that just cute? That little variegated thing. Awesome. Okay. We're going to punch the holes in the top, and it's the 3/32 is the small one that I'm using. And I think it's not quite the smallest one. The smallest one is like 5/64, but kind of a little bit too small. So, you can get the Amazon has them, Harbor Freight. I think I got this one at Harbor Freight, and this one happened to has the cap so you don't get the stuff all over it. Anyways, we're going to now punch our holes, and I try to get it as close to the top where the stitching is. I don't want to go into the stitching. The little circle one, probably it's just kind of a mark. You might even punch it out. So the reason why I want to go closer to the stitching at the top is because of the jump ring and the amount of vinyl when we tried to cut it really close. Alrighty. And there we go. That's our little hole. So I'm going to punch those. There we go. I always like to hear that little snap, then I know it's going to work right. only have one earring set. I didn't grab two. Wasn't expecting to do two. Here we go. And we try to get it in the middle even. There we go. Two holes. And if it went through threads and everything, and there's a little, you know, any threads hanging or cut, happen to hit one by accident or something, then just use your lighter really quick, singe it up. It'll, almost like, you know, doing the end of your webbing straps and stuff. The nylon just kind of melts a little bit and keeps it from fraying. And there we go. Yeah, the blue is just a little, that's probably because it pulled a little bit because I didn't have my corners done. I had all my corners taped down. Here we go. All right, so the hoops or hooks, they come flat. The jump ring at the bottom, or the little ring at the bottom, the hole, the ring, the loop part, there we go, is flat. And if I had put the jump ring on in that, then the earrings would end up being like this. And we want the earrings to hang this way. So I'm going to gently, I'm going to hold it right at the hole part, right where it starts to its turn. And I'm going to just gently turn it. Gently turn it. So now the ring or your hole goes that way versus the way they come. So we want to turn that little loop. If you're using a jump ring, which on most of the vinyl type ones you'll need a jump ring because this ring isn't big enough for that big hunkin' piece of vinyl that's left there. So we want to turn the ring, and then we're going to take our jump rings. And depending on you, what you prefer on your size, I mean, I'm trying to be least amount of jump ring. I mean, I do have larger ones. I really just don't want them too big hanging. I want you to see the product, not the jump ring and the hoops and all that. So you don't pull the rings apart, you twist them because they're already closed. So you just want to twist a little bit. So you're just going to twist it. All right. And then we're going to put the earring in, or our product, earring product, our Starburst, our diamond Starburst. And then you want to figure out which is the front, which is the back. So our front is the nice side. So I'm going to put my hook in so that it's going to hang nicely. And then you close it back up gently by just twisting it back closed, and they're closed. Very simple. You don't spread them apart, you twist them apart. And there we go. I mean, it's going to be hard to see with the camera going straight down, but they hang super cute. There we go. That is it, and it's that Starburst. There's going to be other shapes. Let's do our next one. So while I'm doing the jump rings, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Yay, this is a good one. This is a great video. This is a great project. Easy, simple, quick. May not be in the tutorial, but when you start doing these, they're really super quick. And then we're going to just twist our jump ring back so that it closes. There we go. And then I just kind of move the ring so that the open part isn't where the wire is. And there's number 2. How cute are those? All right, see? And then with the variegated, look how pretty those are. So I'm gonna get some jump rings on these in a little bit, but like I said, subscribe, thumbs up if you really like this video, and any comments down below would be great. If there's something else you might want to see or have ideas that you want me to do or show or explain, I'm here to do that, so let me know. And the design will be available on badbobbin.com. And I explained to you where my variegated came from. The other thread is just Madeira that I used, the vinyls. I think the purple was a scrap actually, I think, from Glitterbug Fairy. And the blue, I think possibly might have come from My Punk Broidery. I buy from different places. I don't prefer one over the other, just depending on what vinyl I need or product I need, if one carries it and the other one doesn't. I shop from everybody and support everybody. I am not getting paid by anybody to do so. So spread the joy and wealth and let everybody enjoy. And here's the information if you need it again. Left it here so you can screenshot and do it, but all the PDFs and everything will be in the files for you with pictures on how to do it. And we're all set. Thank you for joining me on the Diamond Starburst earrings. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks for joining me. See you at the cutting table.